Hi, it's Maggie with Golden Lights Within, and today I am here with a video to talk about different ways that you can mitigate non-native EMF exposure with your phone specifically. So things that I personally do to help decrease that non-native EMF exposure. So when I say non-native EMF, so the electromagnetic fields and frequencies. So we have the natural EMFs from the earth, so thinking about the earth's magnetic field, infrared light, UV light, and then we have the man-made EMFs, and that's going to be the non-native things like your phone, the Wi-Fi router, the computer, right? A lot of things that we're exposed to. So we want to be more in sync, right, with the earth's natural electromagnetic field and frequencies, and so mitigating this exposure from the man-made ones is important. So I'll just kind of leave it at that for today, but ways to do that with your phone is the main thing I wanted to get into. So things that I do, so if I just have my phone with me and first of all, if I don't even need it on, I'll just turn it off. But most of the time we do need access to be able to just, quickly call someone or check a text or check in on something. So what you can do is put it on airplane mode. So the first tip would be to, when you're not using it, to put it on airplane mode or to just turn it off. So obviously turning it off, is best, but it does significantly lower the EMF, the non-native EMF exposure and radiation coming from your phone when you put it on airplane mode. So that is the first thing that I do. The second thing that I do is if I'm taking a call, I try to do it on speakerphone so I don't put my phone up to my head. And the reason being, right, when you're on a call, it is an even higher EMF exposure, radiation exposure. And so you don't want to be putting that up against your head, right, when you're exposing yourself to that. So if you can just set it, on the table, throw it on speakerphone. Obviously that's not always the case. I'm just trying to kind of give you the lay of the land and just general guidelines of things that I do so that you can try to work that in when possible. So, not sticking it up, right next to your brain, right, would be ideal. So that is another tip. So just try when you can to do speakerphone when you're on a call. And then the third thing that I just keep in mind is just trying to not be on my phone as much. So the tip with the phone is to try not to be using it as much. And so just thinking about in your life, what are ways that you can do that? So, and usually it's swapping it out for a healthier habit. So maybe you can scroll on your phone 5 minutes less per day and instead, go outside during that time or read or meditate or do something like that, replace that habit. And it's not just saying, okay, you can't do it. It's just saying, hey, could you decrease this amount of time, right? So just thinking about, your phone habits and where you can, just decrease things or replace things, and just think about it in a different way. Obviously our phones are part of life now. I'm not saying, for me personally, right, I'm not trying to not have a phone. It's just more of understanding that exposure, is not beneficial for us. So how can we decrease it and, do our best with that? So again, just when I look at my phone, this is just my personal advice, things that I do. I'm not a medical doctor. So, if you want to look more into this or talk to your doctor about it, you can definitely do that. But for me, these are things that, I try to do to help with my own health. So again, one would be to put your phone on airplane mode or turn it off when possible. And then two would be if you're on a phone call, try to put on speakerphone, set it down, you know, not putting it up against you. And then third would be to just figure out ways that you can decrease your exposure to just using your phone. So how can you just like put it away to the side more often, or just swap out habits to decrease the amount of time that you're on your phone. So those are just things, again, that I've done that have helped to me. And I just think also just being on your phone less, being on technology less, you're usually happier and more peaceful too. So that is part of it as well. So thank you so much for viewing this Golden Lights Within video, and I will catch you in the next one.